Wild pigs, also known as feral hogs, are not native to the United States. They were introduced in the 16th century when Spanish explorers such as Hernando de Soto brought them to the southeast United States for food purposes. Initially, pigs were raised freely, but over time, many individuals escaped into the natural environment, reproduced and became feral. Today, feral hogs have become one of the most harmful animals to agriculture, the environment and even community life in the United States. Therefore, the need for Americans to trap, hunt and destroy wild hogs is not only a need for survival but also a responsibility to protect the ecosystem, agricultural economy and human safety. One of the main reasons why Americans have to trap wild hogs is the serious economic damage caused by this species. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, wild pigs cause more than $2.5 billion in damage each year. Most of which is from crop damage. Wild pigs have a very good sense of smell and are omnivorous. They can dig the ground to find tubers, seeds, insects, and even eat young plants. Not only that, their hooves plow the topsoil, damaging fields, causing soil erosion and destroying farming structures. Just a few dozen pigs can completely destroy a corn or wheat field in one night. This makes farmers desperate, having to find ways to control the number of wild pigs, including mass trapping in large cages and electronic traps with surveillance cameras. In addition to causing damage to agriculture, wild pigs are also a direct threat to the natural environment. They compete for food with native species such as deer, elk, raccoons and many species of birds. Wild boars also destroy bird and turtle nests and eat the eggs of rare reptiles. In many nature reserves, wild boars encroach on habitat, reducing biodiversity and causing ecosystem imbalances. The digging and destruction of wetlands, forests or grasslands not only harms the habitat of other species but also causes soil erosion, altering the natural flow of water. This has forced biologists, land managers and conservation organizations to step in. Developing strategies to trap and control large-scale wild boar populations. Another reason that trapping wild boars has become a top priority is the public health threat. Wild boars carry a number of diseases that can be transmitted to humans and livestock, including brucellosis, leptospirosis, viral encephalitis, tuberculosis, and a variety of dangerous parasites. Several cases of infection from wild boars have been recorded in people living near areas with high densities of this species. In particular, in commercial pig farms, wild boars can spread diseases and cause serious damage to the entire pork industry. Therefore, the government and people cannot stand still in the face of the risk of disease outbreaks and must actively participate in campaigns to trap, destroy and prevent the spread of wild boars. Not only causing damage to agriculture and the environment, wild boars also threaten traffic safety and people's lives. Many traffic accidents have occurred due to vehicles hitting wild boars, especially in states such as Texas, Florida, Georgia, where the density of wild boars is high. Wild boars are often active at night and can suddenly cross the road, causing serious accidents. In some suburban areas, wild boars have even entered people's yards, damaging gardens, flower beds, and even attacking pets. Cases of wild boars biting people and chasing children in parks have also been recorded. Such dangerous situations have forced the community to actively coordinate with wildlife control agencies to set traps and destroy dangerous wild boars. The rapid reproduction rate of wild boars is one of the factors that makes controlling them more difficult than ever. An adult sow can give birth to 1 to 2 litters per year. Each litter averaging 4 to 10 piglets. With sufficient food sources and favorable living conditions, the wild boar population can double in less than a year. This means that without continuous intervention, the number of wild boars will increase rapidly and the damage will become more serious. Trapping is not only a defensive action but also a long-term strategy to reduce the reproduction rate, isolate adults and prevent uncontrolled population growth. In addition to traditional traps using large iron cages placed in areas where wild boars are active, Americans have also developed many modern techniques for hunting this species. These include smart traps with cameras that transmit signals to the user's phone so they can decide when to close the trap. Some groups of hunters use helicopters to herd and kill wild boars in vast plains such as Texas and Oklahoma. These measures are expensive but are highly effective in rapidly reducing the number of individuals. In addition, some localities also encourage people to participate in hunting wild pigs by organizing tournaments or issuing hunting licenses year-round. Turning this issue into a community movement not only raises awareness but also helps share the responsibility for controlling this invasive species. Many animal protection organizations have expressed concern about the mass hunting and extermination of wild pigs. However, scientists and government agencies assert that this is an invasive species, not part of the native ecosystem, and that not controlling them will lead to much more serious consequences. Some studies have also shown that if drastic measures are not taken, within the next 10 years, wild pigs could spread to all 50 states of the United States. Currently, more than 35 states have recorded the presence of wild pigs. Of which Texas is home to the largest number, estimated at more than 2 million. Areas such as the South, Midwest, and southeastern states such as Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina are also facing a strong wave of invasion. The eradication of feral pigs is not simply a matter of hunting or trapping, but a comprehensive process that requires biological knowledge, population management, legislation, and cooperation between authorities and the people. Many research projects on the migration behavior, reproductive patterns, and range of feral pigs have been conducted to help managers plan more effective control. Scientists use GPS tracking devices attached to individual pigs to track their movements, thereby identifying hotspots and mapping their distribution. This data is shared with rangers and farmers, helping them place traps in strategic locations and use resources effectively. Trapping feral pigs in the US is not simply setting up a cage and waiting for the animal to be trapped. It is a carefully calculated process that combines understanding of animal behavior, field experience, modern technology and human patience. People and wildlife control forces often spend days observing the movement of wild boars. Identifying routes that they often travel, gathering spots such as mud pits, water sources, or fields in the harvest season, places where they can come to feed. Once a high frequency of wild boar herds has been identified, the first step is to place monitoring devices such as motion-triggered cameras to monitor their activity at night. These cameras record the time of appearance of wild boars, their numbers, and their behavior approaching the bait, thereby helping trappers plan exactly how to set up traps. The most common type of trap today is the corral trap, built from a wire mesh or steel panel about 1.5 to 1.8 meters high. Forming a circle or horseshoe shape with an entrance. Wild boars are very intelligent and alert, so the cage must be large enough to not arouse their suspicion. The goal is to lure the entire herd into the trap, because if a few are trapped while the others are still outside, they will never return to that area again. Therefore, the process of training wild boars into the trap is the most important and time-consuming step. Trappers often leave bait in the trap for many days without closing the door, so that wild boars get used to coming and going freely. The bait commonly used is fermented corn, maize, to have a stronger and more attractive smell. Some people also mix in yogurt, fruit juice or beer to increase the attraction, because wild boars love sour and fermented smells. Once the camera records that the entire herd has gotten used to entering the trap to eat the bait and is no longer alert, it is time to prepare to close the trap. Modern systems allow the trapper to remotely control the trapdoor using a smartphone or tablet, via a signal transmitted from the surveillance camera. When the herd is fully inside, just press a button, and the heavy iron door will fall down in a split second, trapping the entire herd inside. Modern traps also have vibration sensors, detect movement, and automatically close if programmed. There have been cases where wild boars have broken through weak traps or crawled out through gaps. So people always reinforce traps with thick steel, firmly nailed to the ground, and ensure there is no gap at the bottom so they cannot escape. In addition to cage traps, some people use guillotine traps, drop-down traps, or spring-loaded foot traps. However, these methods can easily injure other pets or even people if not used carefully. So they are less recommended in densely populated areas. Some states, such as Texas, allow the use of electronic traps, which can also incorporate a sound system to attract wild pigs. These devices mimic the sounds of other pigs or play other attractive sounds, stimulating curiosity and drawing wild boars closer. In wilderness areas where access is difficult, traps dropped from helicopters or controlled by drones have also been tested, although not widely used due to high costs. The process after trapping wild boars is equally important. If they are left panicking in their cages for too long, they will destroy and injure themselves. Trappers usually move quickly to the location, likely anesthetize or use humane methods to handle them. Depending on state laws, wild boars after being captured may be destroyed on site, taken to a research center, or in some cases transferred to farms for slaughter if they are guaranteed not to carry infectious diseases. Wild boars should never be released into other areas, as this will only spread the problem and make it harder to control. Some professional hunting groups even combine hunting and trapping in the same campaign. When some wild boars avoid the trap or become alert after their escapes, hunting with an infrared scoped rifle at night will help to eliminate the difficult individuals. However, trapping is always considered more effective and humane, because it can capture the whole herd alive without using violence, and at the same time collect biological data for research. The human factor in the process of trapping wild boars cannot be ignored. Experienced people understand that it is necessary to be patient, observe carefully, not rush, and always be ready to change tactics. Wild boars are intelligent, agile, and extremely alert animals. Just a small mistake, they will run away from the trap and never return. Therefore, the trapping process requires sophistication, sensitivity, and a deep understanding of the biological behavior of this species. Successful trappers are often those who not only know the technicalities of the equipment but also spend hours in the woods. Observing footprints, scratch marks, and analyzing movement patterns to set traps in the right place at the right time. Trapping feral pigs in the United States has become part of an invasive species control strategy that combines science, technology, and practical experience. Traps are increasingly sophisticated, trapping campaigns are well organized, and data sharing networks are deployed to coordinate communities. It is not just a fight against a single wild animal, but a long-term confrontation with a serious ecological and economic challenge facing the United States.